started the recording. This is Design 301. It's our lecture. It's Tuesday, November 9th, and we are on a Google Meet. Please note that Thursday is a holiday. And so we encourage you, rather than studying, go out and do what the holiday is about, which is pay your respects to the service members, current and past, that have provided service to the country. So that's what the holiday is for. So we're hoping that you'll have an opportunity to do that. Okay, so here we go. Industry choice number 2. It's really just kind of extended from what we did before. So I'm going to show how to do dynamic blocks for those that use blocks. About almost half of the people did something with the cabinetry and blocks and attributes. So now I'm going to go one farther, and I'm going to do dynamic blocks, which are, you make one block and then you can use it for many things. So let's go in here, and I'm playing around with this one, which is kind of, that's kind of cool. And I'm going to select, well, let me get one that, select and right click, and I'm going to edit that thing in place, and I'm going to get rid of what I've already done. So this is a symbol for a register. And if I look at it, it's 2 feet. And if I look at my units, they're architectural, so that's cool. So that's 2 feet. But with my attributes, I'll tell it all about, it's a 4-way, and there's this many CFM, and there's this much pressure loss, and there's this big of a connector, and it's got a certain throw. So I'll give all the data about it in an attribute. But I might want my symbol to be a slightly different size. So let me check and see how I can do that. Okay, so the first thing that I can do is I can go to this parameter authoring palette. Sorry. I go to this authoring palette, and I can say, what parameters might I want to change? And so I might want to change kind of how far it goes that way. And I'm only doing this partially. You have to do a little bit more work yourself. And how far it goes that way. So I can stretch this one sideways and that one upward. So that's really cool. So I'm going to change little parts of it. And I can do some things. I can rotate or polar stretch or scale or move. So I'm going to do what's called a stretch command. Stretch. And so what do I want to stretch? I want to stretch a distance. And then where do I want to stretch from? I want to stretch to the right. And now I'm going to make my stretch frame. I'm going to stretch that stuff. So I'm going to make it wider than it is. And I have to pick the stuff that I want to stretch. Hopefully I got everything. I might have gotten too much stuff there. Okay, and then I can do the same thing in the other direction. But let's just see what happens. Well, let me do a stretch with that one too. I'm going to stretch number 2. About that point, that's good. And then I'm going to stretch everything down that way. And I just did that wrong. I'm going to stretch this one, and I'm going to get all of that stuff. And I'm going to select that thing, that thing, that thing, and let's see if I got all the right stuff. Save those changes. Now let me put it in. I don't remember which one I did. Was it that one? Isn't that cool? Oh, I did miss this one. It looks like I didn't get all the rest of it either. So let's go ahead and do that one. So now I'm going to stretch my distance number 2 from there. Take all that stuff. And I want to stretch that thing, and that thing. Well, it's only looking like it's doing the one. I don't know why it's only stretching one of them. Right now, it should stretch both of those. Should let me stretch that other one too. But you can get the picture, right? That you can stretch these things. Really kind of cool. Let me see if I can get up. Let me see if I can get those to work again. I lost this one now. I lost too much stuff. That's okay. So let me try it again. Ready? So I'll put a parameter on. And I'll stretch. I'm going to do a different thing here. So I'm going to stretch distance 1 in that direction. And I'm going to stretch all the stuff that's in there. And I'm going to pick these things now. Enter. And then I'm going to do one more cool thing. Close that down for a moment. If I pick on this, I can also tell it the value set. I can make it incremental. So let me say it can go to 36 inch and down to 12 inch. Let me put one of those in here now. Now look, it only goes to certain values. Isn't that the coolest thing? Now I can make my register exactly what I want. And, you know, there's some things about doing one of these things like this you got to get a little bit more fancy with. But that's cool. Let me do one more on that. If you want to, I should have included this one in the stretch so it would go halfway. If instead of increments you do a list, you could do 2, 2 foot, 3 foot, 1.5 foot, and 1 foot. Now let's see if it'll do those. only pick the ones that I had entered for it. Isn't that really cool? I just think that's the neatest stuff. So that is your block editor. Basically, if you make a block, you can do cool stuff with it. When you got little pieces sticking out, it can be a little bit harder. And it applies it to all of them that have that name, not just that one. Everything with that name will get it. And that's what the block editor does. There are a few other things that happen in the block editor that if you want to look at, you can. You can make it go in an array and things like that. But what's really cool is you can make sure that certain points stay vertical, stay horizontal, stay perpendicular, stay touching another point. So these are all kind of cool things that you can do that give you opportunities to do things. Here's one where you can give it a total height and a total width. You can rotate it by a certain angle. You can make some things visible and some things not. I don't know what the lookup does. Adds a lookup parameter. Well, that's kind of cool. Mostly what we work with is this linear one. Okay, so that's what to do with all of that cool dynamic block stuff. Okay, so now I need to go back and look at I need to go find the thing to draw. And it was mechanical, right? And it was the floating arm or the adjustable arm?
I would have to look at them.
Okay, here we go. I think I know the one you're talking about, though. That one, right?
Yes, that one.
Okay. And I'm going to take a snip of that so that I've got it handy and dandy. And you have to learn one new command, which is the split command. And so that's where the trick comes in. Okay? So, let's see, what am I going to do? You can make this part, right? You know how to make that part of it, and you know how to make
Yes, it
that
was
part
just
of it. It's this weird thing right
that
here, right?
diagonal. Yeah, and the space on the bottom.
Okay, I'll show you the cool trick to that. And I'm going to move it down and out of the way so when I come over here, I can draw it. Well, let's see. Where am I going to put this? I opened that up in a different spot. Let me come get it from over here. It is. Let me do this in the right one so I can show them both at the same time. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to draw this part, and then I'm going to put it into place. Okay. So in this case, I'm going to draw this thing and this thing and this thing. And then I'm going to put them together. Let me draw this one first. And I'm just going to do everything. Let me... Big circles. Welcome in, Cynthia. And I'll make those ones red. And arm. And I'll make that blue just because. And little circles. And I'll make those green. And I'm just doing that to show you rather than to do anything else. And remember, I need to get, where's my workspaces? There it is. Weird, I turned that off. So I'm going to go into my 3D modeling to do it. And I'll make my big circles. And I'm going to put myself into conceptual. And I draw something that is diameter 1.75. And diameter 3.19. And I type D to make that a diameter. And I'm going to put those on my big circles. And I'll press pull those up 1.5. And I put that on the wrong layer too. So there they are. Now I'm going to do this little circles, and I'm going to put them in the right place just so you can see. So that is 1.25 and 0.5. Diameter 1.25 and diameter 0.5. And that thing is 0.98 tall. So this is truly the case of making little things one at a time and putting them where they belong. So that belongs 5 inches over. But it also belongs 0.2 up. So let me kind of get myself kind of sideways, and I'll do the move command. Click, move up. And see how it says Z 0.2. So that's in the right place now. So if I can make this third piece, I'll be golden. That will be so cool. Now I have to think about how to do that. So the first thing I'm going to do is draw this shape. So I see it's built around the 3.19 arm. and then offset 1.125. And this is just how you made it before, right? And then I can come out 5. That was kind of fortuitous. Oh, and I can do some trimming now, right? And I can make this one out here, which has a radius of 0.75. And I remember that there was a line that went tangent. And then, you know, it's going to have this little hole through it. So I can put that little hole through this one too. Diameter 0.5. Now I can get rid of everything that I don't want. I don't need that. And I don't need that. And I don't need that. And now I need to trim. And I'm going to press pull it the full amount, 0.88. And I'll tell you, that's almost got everything done right there. But there's two little things. I know it tapers down some. And so I have a little bit of figuring to do. Where are these with respect to this? Right? Where is this? So I have to do some calculating. Where is this point? How high above the ground is this point? And really, how high above here? So let me base it all off of the ground. It's 0.2 plus 0.98 minus 0.15. 0.2 plus 0.98 minus 0.15. It's 1.03 above the ground. So that's kind of cool. And this point is, so I'm gonna put a little thing on there. 1.03. This point is 0.25 plus 0.88. $1.13. This point is 0.1 below. This point is 0.1 below this point. That's the big trick here. So I'm gonna make a little line there. This edge over here, and I'll make it a different color. Goes from the quadrant down 0.1. So That's how much it tapers downward. Let me figure out how much it tapers upward now. 0.25, 0.2, plus 0.98, minus 0.15, minus 0.68. Okay, here we go. 0.2 plus 0.98 minus 0.15 minus 0.68 is 0.35 above the ground, and this is 0.25 above the ground. So that one is also 0.1. Let me make a little mark there. Now here's the command you don't know yet. It's called the slice command. And I can slice this thing now. Slice this object, enter, along 3P, 3 points. And it's going to slice from this quadrant down to this endpoint and then straight sideways. Enter. See what it just did there? Oh. Well, that'll be okay. Oh. Delete. There we go. And now I can do the same thing on the bottom side. Slice from the quadrant. Oh, hold on. I did that all wrong. I didn't read the command line. Slice, select the object, click enter, type 3P for 3 points to define the plane, and take the quadrant to the endpoint to straight out sideways. Keep both parts. There we go. Now, what happens next? I need to line these up, so I'm going to move this piece so the center is on the bottom center. Oh, I got that one going the wrong way when I did it. And then it's going to move up. .25. And then this one will go, let's see, I want to move this center I have to redraw my line. Oh, there it is. There's my line. Right there. I want to move this thing so the center right on the end point of that line, and then that one moves up 0.2. There. So good luck. That one is really complex. You can do as much of the, you know, if you just get this piece on there not trimmed, that's probably okay. But the trick is you make each one and then you follow the directions for how high the important corners are. Okay? And then you've got it. And I didn't actually pick that corner right. I picked the quadrant instead of this little corner, but I'll be perfectly satisfied if you do that. Now there's one other cool command called union that says make all of those things one part. Select and enter. Now it's all one thing. And when you go to your layout, and do your base model from model space, you just have the one part to see. And you know what? Don't worry about the little holes. That's some busy work and stuff. But this is pretty darn cool. It's really, really fun stuff. Now, this particular one will be very hard to 3D print because it's going to put the, well, it won't be hard, but you're going to have the support underneath when you're 3D printing this. Although it might, let me take a look here. You might be able to lay it on its side and do it without supports, or at least minimize the amount of supports. But if you were, I would still put supports under here as you're 3D printing it. Okay, remember we tend to make our isometric views. If I click on it, I'd like to edit that to remove hidden lines and make them visible lines. That would be my most common way to do it. Sound good? Cool. So, Cynthia, you came on in the middle of us doing dynamic blocks. I do want to show you that I've got one for you on exactly how to do the dynamic blocks. And I put that in our playlist. So you'll have this to go by. Plus you'll have the thing that I did today. This one is super, super clear and straightforward because, of course, I scripted it and practiced it and took little parts. So it comes out much, much better. So really go along with this one. It's only 4 minutes long, and the goal would be to use as few actual blocks as you can and change them as you're using them in the drawing. Put it in place, change the dimensions. Put them in place, change dimensions live as you're doing it. Okay? And so this one shows you how to do it by typing in a dimension. Earlier on in the demo, I did it where I was using set dimensions. But you're able to do both of those. So I'll open it up for questions. Does anybody have questions? We did dynamic block and threes. Yes, Alicia.
So my big question is about turning in the assignments. I feel like this week I missed half of it because it said turn in drawings with in a README file, and I did the PDF combined
Yeah,
showing my.
that's what I want. I wanted I wanted the files that were identified in the README. So if you did them, then that's good.
Oh, okay.
You-
I was just because I'm also used to, providing you a link for the
Right,
drawings.
right. So the way to do it, let me see if I can get into um let me see if I can do it in VMware. I hate it. It doesn't let you see it and you don't know if your caps locks are on. There we go. Sometimes the level of sophistication of our programming leaves a little bit to be desired. Okay. There it goes. And here's. Do you guys keep getting these things? If you have a professor who's being evaluated, those things pop up over and over and over and over again. Okay, so let's go into our student view. Come down to the assignment, and I want to upload the combined PDF. So let me find a PDF. Let's see if I've got one in there. No, I have a PDF somewhere. I hope I've got a PDF somewhere. There we go. So upload your PDF and then add another file and upload, all of your files.
Okay, so should I put my drawings then in the late work? Because like I did the PDF binder, but I didn't upload the drawings.
Um, I'll let you know if I need to see your actual drawings. I tell most from the PDF, but sometimes there's a problem or something that I go I need to get into the actual drawing to find. And
Okay,
so you can just leave it as is, and then if I want to get into one, I'll email you and say, "Oh, go pop this in for me."
sounds like a plan.
Cool. Okay. And Cynthia, your turn. I can't hear you. We're unable to hear you right now, Cynthia. Can, okay. So you can contact me for clarification. That'll be fine. You can send me an email, or of course, you can look up on here. Today's a little booked, but I'm free here, free a little bit in here, and so on and so forth. So go ahead and grab one, or send me an email. That will be fine. Okay. Anything? Let's come back over to here. I'm clicking around all over the place. Anything else before we close off? Okay, then remember there is no lecture on Thursday. It's a holiday. Enjoy your holiday. If you're able to, do one of the events that pays respects to our service members, because that's what our holiday is about. That would be really cool. And have a great one. I'll see you guys later.